Hey guys, David here. Welcome to Digital Outlook. In today's video, we're going to take a look at XRP, and I'm going to show you why XRP is about to blast into the stratosphere. But before we do, if you'd hit that like and subscribe and tell your friends and family so we can get this information out to as many people as possible, that would be fantastic. So guys, without further ado, why don't we get to it? So guys, something I'd like to share with you about my personal crypto journey is this. Back when I first got involved in crypto, which was in March of 2020, way back when the seed dump happened and things were really on the floor, I bought 3 digital assets. And those 3 digital assets, I bought a little bit of Bitcoin, a little bit of Ethereum, and a little bit of XRP, and it was all on the same day. So XRP was one of the very first digital assets that I ever got into. And for me, when I started to investigate about XRP, because when I first bought it, I didn't even know who Ripple was. I just looked at it as, hey, this one's on the exchange that I was buying. And by the way, at that time, there were only about 5 or 6 assets at whatsoever on the exchange that I was buying it from. So there wasn't a whole lot of selection, but this was one of them. And I think at that time it was about 11 or 12 cents. It really wasn't a lot. But needless to say, I was getting in at that time. But I started to do my research and look around and a little bit more due diligence. And the more and more I did, the more and more I convinced I was that one of the best use cases that I ever heard when it comes to a digital asset of any kind was the whole cross-border payment use case. And what I ended up doing is I ended up getting out of my Bitcoin positions, getting out of my Ethereum positions, and started buying more and more XRP, XLM, XDC, Hedera Hashgraph, and all these other digital assets like that. And I have been stacking and was stacking XRP even back then, way before the lawsuit was dropped on them in December of 2020 by the SEC. And in fact, guys, the day before the lawsuit was dropped on XRP, I put in a significant amount into XRP. In fact, it was over 5 figures. It was a lot. And at that time, the very next day, the lawsuit hit. And, for me, I just looked at it as, okay, I'm just going to look, I had gotten a whole lot down below that 20-cent range. In fact, even after I had bought at that time, and things dropped and stuff again, I just decided, hey, I'm going to keep on accumulating. And during that last bull run, I never sold one XRP. And XRP even went up as high as $2. And believe you me, with the amount that I held in my bags at that time, it was a significant amount. But for me, I was holding on, and I'm still holding on. I'm looking at XRP in the double and triple digits down the road. And this is one of my absolute long terms and one I completely and wholeheartedly believe in. Now, XRP, as you know, has been going through this big, massive lawsuit. Well, here we are. They both filed, the SEC and Ripple have filed their summary judgments, both believing that there is enough information in this case presented to the court already that the court can actually make a summary judgment without even going to trial. And this is big. So I want to give a shout out to Jeremy Hogan, because he's the one that really did a great synopsis on this. And if you've not heard of Jeremy Hogan, he runs a channel called Legal Briefs, but I imagine that most of us in this space have heard of Jeremy. And the guy just has done a fantastic job for this community, just letting everyone know, what's been going on. Well, anyway, one of the primary things that he pointed out was that the SEC is not really pursuing the aftermarket sales of XRP, like what they said in their original complaint, that, XRP is a security no matter what situation it was sold in. No, they're focused on the original sales that Ripple made when they actually went out and did those option contracts and all that kind of stuff with R3 Corda and a few different other folks, and maybe some banks are in there that we don't know about, but courts do and SEC does, whatever. But they're not talking about any subsequent sales of XRP. Like when I was first buying, I didn't know who Ripple was, and I just was buying XRP because, hey, it was cheap at the time. Well, the thing too with Ripple is Ripple has come back, and they're arguing about what an investment contract is. And Jeremy explains that, hey, look, what they're trying to do there is they're going back to even pre-SEC, looking at various cases and saying, hey, at that time, those jurisdictions looked at investment contracts to mean that there was some benefit that was going to be received down the road, or some obligation by the issuer for the purchaser, which, you know, for the aftermarket sales, there isn't one. There is absolutely none. We have no contract with Ripple with respect to any of our XRP purchases, because none of us have purchased XRP direct from Ripple. All of us have gotten it from, you know, the exchanges or aftermarket sales. So for me, guys, this really is a massive indicator. And what do I mean by that? I think what we're seeing right now is we are seeing XRP in like the aftermarket XRP that was sold after these initial contracts coming out to be commodities and not securities. And guys, this is going to be absolutely massive for this space. Why is that? Because as you know, if they're designated as securities, then we are in a position where we're holding an unregistered security without an ability to trade it. And of course, that would just decimate the entire space. But I think what they're going for on both sides here, guys, and it seems to feel like, it seems to sound like settlement all the way around. Because you look at how hard they fought during all these last couple of years. And boy, there were some vicious punches thrown out there. And, you know, you had the SEC coming out against the XRP holders. You had Ripple coming back and firing shots across the bow. No mention in any of these summary judgment briefs of the Hinman emails. That right there is a huge red flag to me about something that you would think would definitely be in there. And, you know, with the SEC, they were so, you know, determined. They were feverishly determined to have any amount of XRP sold at any time to be designated as a security. Well, it looks like that is off the table, at least with these summary judgment briefs. And guys, to me, that smells settlement. So guys, let me take a bit of a pause. I want to show you something here. See these guys here? See these guys right here? You know what those are? Those are Canada geese. And here they are visiting me down here in McKinney, Texas. Kind of nice to see something familiar and from home. So that's kind of cool. Well, what do I think is going to happen here, guys, with this case going forward? Well, what I think you're going to see is you're going to see a settlement between Ripple and the SEC, where Ripple is going to acknowledge that perhaps a few of those initial option contracts were actually security sales. And at that point, I think what you're going to see is you're going to hear that the SEC is going to come back and offer some sort of a settlement to Ripple. And there's going to be probably some nose blowing or teardropping fine that Ripple's going to have to pay. And perhaps it's going to be the biggest fine that the SEC has ever successfully achieved. And if that happens, then both sides in a way are kind of winning there. Because let's face it, Ripple as a company is one massive unicorn with a $15 billion valuation. And the strategic partnerships they have global, man, they're going to want to hold on to that. They're going to want to protect that. They don't want XRP to be designated as security going forward. And for the SEC, well, they don't want to have such egg on their face, having spent hundreds of millions of dollars in this case in legal fees and making such a fuss and, you know, saber rattling and all that regarding the digital asset space. And I think if they get a fine out of Ripple that is significant enough to make headlines, they're going to walk away satisfied too. Now, that's just what I think is going to happen. And another thing that kind of gives me a little bit of sense to that is just how quiet the other side. They've both filed these briefs, but you don't hear, you know, you get a little bit of stuff going out there, but it just seems too odd. It's just too, you know, still, too calm, you know, when you think about it, because the stakes are high for both sides. And, you know, if the courts came out and they gave an absolute win to Ripple, it would absolutely decimate the SEC's ability to pursue any digital assets going forward. And I think Jeremy Hogan did a fantastic job explaining that, because with any ICOs, you're buying an asset, you're not buying an investment contract, you're not buying stocks, you don't get to vote. You don't get prospectus mailed to you whenever changes are made. You don't get to vote on the board of directors for the company or anything like that. So it's nowhere near what a stock would be or what a security would look like under normal circumstances. So if the SEC was to lose, then I think it would just be something that they do not want to have happen. Now, of course, if Ripple was to lose, boy, the consequences could be huge. They'd literally have to leave the U.S. marketplace. I don't think they want to do that either, especially because some of their major backers are massive banks right here in the United States. So both of them are motivated to some degree to settle. Now, guys, if this settles, you are going to watch XRP literally fly into the stratosphere. Why would that happen, guys? Is it because of its use now when it goes out there and there's transactions that use it? I don't think that's where you're going to see the price really explode. Where I think you're going to see the price really explode, guys, is the fact that it has been suppressed throughout this entire lawsuit, taken off exchanges, and literally been thwarted from having citizens in the United States even having the ability to buy it. Now, you can get it on Uphold, but when I was buying on Uphold, hey, I was limited to so much I could put in per day, and it just is not an easy process. And so a lot of folks aren't even buying it here. I think that is going to be one major catalyst for a takeoff. So another catalyst that will cause the price of XRP in a settlement situation to literally skyrocket through the stratosphere will be the fact that XRP will be the only digital asset out there with absolute legal clarity. Guys, we have heard that, Ethereum is going to have legal clarity, but then you just had Gary Gensler kind of, shake a few nerves when he said, hey, maybe ETH 2.0 under a proof of stake situation kind of represents a security. And maybe they might look at going after some of those developers in consensus, and who knows. The other thing too is Bitcoin. Bitcoin is facing such challenges when it comes to their consumption of energy that they're going to face some legal roads to hoe, in my view, going forward. But XRP will literally have the envy of this digital asset space with legal clarity. And guys, let me tell you what, that is worth its weight in platinum. You have got to be kidding. One of the only assets that has absolutely legal clarity settled by the courts, and in fact will probably be the catalyst of a new standard when it comes to testing whether or not a digital asset is a security. The result of this case, you can bet your bottom dollar that is going to have a huge impact on the price of XRP. Now, something else that we have discussed at length on this channel that will cause the price of XRP in a settlement situation to literally fly right through the stratosphere, I kid you not, is the fact that it is an ISO 222 compliant cryptocurrency, and that Ripple is on the governance council of the ISO 222 standards body. This thing is coming into effect in the very near future. In November of 2022, you're going to see a lot of countries around the world being onboarded. And on top of that, by 2023, 2024, and 2025, there is going to be settled, absolutely settled, that every bank that wants to transact in this economy is going to be operating under that ISO 222 messaging standard. This is going to have such massive implications. So for me, guys, this is just an indicator that this game of musical chairs is almost over. And you don't want to be the guy standing around with your hands in your pockets when the music stops and no seat at the table. Because I'm telling you what, I think it's going to happen a lot sooner than most of us even think. And when it does, you're going to see the ship has left the docking station and we are on our way to Venus, heading out towards infinity and beyond. It is going to be something else. It's going to be life-changing. I think it's going to be generational wealth changing. That is my personal view. So guys, this is the video I have for you today, and I sure hope that you enjoyed it. Now, if I said something that you disagree with about XRP, about Ripple, about this case, you drop that down in the comments there. And if I left something out that you think is important and should be mentioned, you drop that down in there too, and we can have a discussion. So guys, before you go, just take a look at this absolutely gorgeous park out here in McKinney, Texas. They have a playground back in here for kids. They have all these spots where you can just sit down, have a barbecue with your family. The lake out here where you got all kinds of geese and ducks. And by the way, you can actually fish in this lake. And I think it's actually catch and release, but needless to say, it's really something else and one of my favorite spots to come out and record. Well guys, as you know, I'm not a financial advisor, and this isn't financial advice, but if you found value in it, if you'd hit that like and subscribe, I'd appreciate it. And don't forget to hit that notification bell down there so that you don't miss out on any of the videos that we're uploading. And if you're one of the thousands of people who have been watching these videos but haven't yet subscribed, would you do the channel a favor and join this community? We would really love to have you on board. So, in the meantime and in between time, stay safe, be blessed, and I'll catch you in the next one.